The moment I turned onto the cracked, overgrown road leading into Silent Hollow, an unsettling heaviness settled over me. The forest thickened around the path, the trees twisted and gnarled like skeletal fingers clawing at the sky. The sunlight was weak here, filtered through a choking canopy of blackened leaves, casting sickly shadows that danced with every gust of the cold wind. As I entered the town, the silence was overwhelming, so complete that even my footsteps seemed to echo unnaturally loud, bouncing off the decaying walls of abandoned houses. Each home I passed looked like a tomb sealed by time and violence. The paint peeled away in chunks, revealing splashes of dark red stains that soaked into the wood like old scars. Deep gouges, as if from jagged claws or desperate fists, ripped across doors and window frames, leaving ragged wounds that whispered of untold horrors. The ground beneath my boots was sticky, the thick, congealed blood glistening faintly under the dying light. I forced myself not to look too closely, but couldn't help noticing streaks that led from the houses to the dense tree line, as if something or someone had dragged themselves into the shadows. The air hung heavy with the coppery scent of fresh blood mixed with decay, choking my throat and filling my lungs with a cold, metallic taste. There was a faint whispering carried on the wind, a half-remembered warning from some long-forgotten voice echoing in my mind. They never leave. Despite every instinct screaming to turn back, I pushed forward, drawn by the morbid curiosity that had brought me here. With every step, the oppressive silence seemed to grow heavier, pressing against me like a living thing, threatening to smother me in its dark embrace. The old church stood at the center of Silent Hollow, like a dark wound bleeding into the night. Its heavy wooden doors hung crooked on rusted hinges, creaking ominously with every faint breeze that slipped through the broken stained glass windows. I hesitated at the threshold, the scent of damp earth and something far fouler seeping from within. Inside, the floor was slick with a dark, sticky substance that gleamed under the weak light of a dying candle. The pews, once orderly and proud, now lay splintered and stained, some shattered under the weight of time and neglect. Closer to the altar, fresh evidence of unspeakable acts was everywhere, handprints smeared in thick, dark blood across the cold stone, fingers severed clean. From hands scattered like twisted petals among shards of broken glass. The altar itself was desecrated, marked with deep gouges and splattered with a mixture of dried and fresh blood that seemed to pulse beneath the flickering candlelight. As I moved deeper, an eerie chanting began to fill the air, a guttural, almost inhuman sound rising from the basement below. The voices were low but insistent, weaving through the silence like a deadly web. Shadows shifted along the walls, dancing and twisting as if alive, drawing me closer to the staircase that led beneath the church. The air grew colder with every step down the creaking stairs, thickening with the stench of rot and decay. The walls themselves seemed to pulse, as if the building was breathing in time with the chanting. Flickering candlelight revealed glimpses of twisted shapes and dark stains that crawled like veins along the stone dot at the base of the stairs. The source of the chanting revealed itself a circle of cloaked figures, faces hidden in the darkness, surrounding a pit filled with shattered bones and dark, glistening entrails. The atmosphere was suffocating, as if the very soul of the place was soaked in blood and madness. The chanting in the basement grew louder and more frenzied as I stood frozen in the dim, flickering candlelight. The air was thick and heavy, pressing down on me like a physical force, making it difficult to breathe. The pit at the center of the cloaked figures gaped open, filled with broken bones and glistening, fresh entrails that seemed to pulse with a sickly life of their own. The scent of iron and decay was overpowering, a nauseating blend of death that clawed at my senses. The figures swayed rhythmically, their voices rising and falling in a guttural hymn that felt ancient and cursed. I could sense something far darker beneath their ritual hunger that went beyond flesh, a malevolence that reached into the deepest parts of the soul. Their cloaks were soaked in blood, streaked with fresh, dripping stains that marked them as part of this horrific ceremony. Without warning, the circle shattered. The figures turned with jerky, unnatural movements, their hands clawed and stained red from their grisly work. They moved toward me like a pack of starving beasts, their faces still hidden in shadow, but their intentions clear. There was no mercy here, only hunger and rage. I stumbled backward, heart pounding wildly as sharp pain seared across my arm. A blade, cold and cruel, sliced deep, sending hot blood pouring down my skin. The walls seemed to close in, the shadows lengthening and writhing like living things. The floor beneath me was slick with gore, making every movement treacherous. Desperation fueled my escape attempt, but the blood-covered cultists were relentless. Their nails scraped against my flesh, leaving deep, ragged wounds that bled freely. The sharp scent of iron filled the air as I was dragged closer to the pit, the grotesque altar of bones and entrails awaiting its next victim. I caught glimpses of their faces beneath the hood, twisted features marked by torment and madness. Their eyes leaked black tears, their mouths stretched in eternal screams of pain and fury. The cold fingers that gripped me tightened, and the chant rose once more, a terrible, discordant symphony that echoed in my skull and threatened to shatter my mind. Every instinct screamed for me to fight, to run, but the darkness was closing in, swallowing all hope as the pit loomed nearer, ready to claim me as it had so many before. From the depths of the pit rose a presence so grotesque it defied every law of nature and sanity. The creature moved with a dreadful grace, its massive, twisted limbs gliding through the thick darkness like a nightmare unleashed from some ancient abyss. Its skin was pallid and slick, stretched taut over a skeletal frame that bends in unnatural angles. Limbs contorted and elongated beyond human form. The creature's torso was a horrifying void, split open like a gaping wound lined with jagged rows of bone-like teeth where a stomach should have been. Inside that gaping maw lay remnants of the damned fractured ribs, shattered skulls, and fragments of torn flesh dripping with thick, dark blood. Its face was a nightmare mask sewn from pieces of human skin, stitched crudely with coarse, blood-stained sinew. Multiple eyes blinked independently across the patchwork flesh, some wide with terror, others dull and lifeless, all soaked in a black, oily sheen. From its many mouths issued a chorus of chilling whispers, unintelligible but heavy with malice, echoing through the stifling air like a cursed hymn. As it loomed closer, its hooked claws extended, tearing into my side with brutal force. The sharp pain exploded through my body, hot blood flooding the wound and mixing with the cold, stagnant water beneath us. The creature's breath was fetid, a rancid stench of decay and rot that clawed at my nostrils and burned my eyes. My vision blurred, the edges darkening as waves of nausea and panic surged within me. Dragged toward the creature's gaping maw, I felt the crushing pressure of the water around me, the silence broken only by the eerie whispers that seemed to burrow into my mind, promising release, belonging, and oblivion. My skin grew cold and pale, veins darkening beneath the surface, the transformation creeping like a slow poison through every fiber of my being, dot in that black abyss. I understood with chilling clarity that I was no longer a mere victim, but becoming part of the Nightmaranda lost soul destined to feed the insatiable hunger of Silent Hollow's dark heart. Desperation surged within me as I fought with every ounce of strength left, thrashing against the creature's cruel grasp, kicking and clawing to escape the abyssal fate that awaited beneath the surface. I woke on the muddy bank, coughing violently as thick, bitter water mixed with hot blood forced its way up from my lungs. Every part of my body screamed in agony, muscles trembling with exhaustion and pain as if I had been dragged through some hellish nightmare. My skin was cold and clammy, drained of all color, replaced by a sickly, pale hue that made me look less like a living person and more like a corpse. My hands shook uncontrollably as I looked down and noticed my nails, once normal, were now cracked, blackened, and brittle, as though stained by the darkness that had claimed me. Desperately, I reached toward a shallow pool of water nearby, and when I stared into it, terror gripped me tight. My reflection was no longer my own. My eyes, once warm and human, were now milky white and glazed, identical to the cataract-clouded gaze of the old man from the gas station. The realization hit me like a freight train. I was no longer entirely human. Behind me came the faint but unmistakable sound of dragging, slow and deliberate, like a heavy weight being pulled across the wet earth. I turned slowly, heart hammering in my chest, to see the gas station man standing there, a cruel smile twisting his thin lips. His eyes, too, were that same ghostly white, and an unnatural chill seemed to gather around him, thickening the air and dragging the darkness closer. "Welcome home," he whispered, voice rough and dry like dead leaves rustling in a forgotten forest. From the edge of the creek, pale, skeletal hands emerged, slick with fresh blood, reaching hungrily for me. I felt a terrible calm wash over me, the fight draining away as those cold, grasping fingers clutched my arms and pulled me toward the dark water. Something inside me broke, shifting into a new existence, neither fully alive nor truly dead, but part of the endless, twisted horror of Silent Hollow.
Please like and subscribe channel Fear Frequency for more horror stories. Thank you.